Welcome to our first ever movie review. We will be doing Marvel's Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings. Justin?
All right, where do we begin with Shang-Chi? I think we'll just start with the length of this movie.
Okay.
I think this was the biggest complaint of... I think this is a big complaint of mine. It kind of overstayed its welcome. It kind of just kept going.
I mean, that is true that it kept going. I broke it down into 3 different nights because I didn't allot enough time to watch the movie at once. So yeah, maybe that I didn't feel that much, but if I watch half an hour, then an hour, it was a lot nicer, and I kind of got more out of it, I think, or less. Who knows?
Yeah. So this is kind of not the first Phase 4 movie, but probably the most important first Phase 4 movie. I mean, Black Widow is technically Phase 4, and that doesn't really matter because we know how her story ended.
Yeah, it doesn't really bring that much more to the table.
Right. It doesn't do anything else besides. I mean, the TV shows are Phase 4, but this is the first solo movie based in Phase 4. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what to say about this movie.
Well, I mean, we're going to start with you wouldn't rewatch it right now.
I would definitely not rewatch this movie. This is not one of those Marvel movies that you can watch again and again and again.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. I mean, even when it starts, I think it's as much as it's nice, but it felt like even the start was a drag. Like that. To me, the start was a drag more than the ending.
So I think this movie kind of divided itself into 2 parts. There's the kind of the first 2 acts, which are pretty grounded in reality besides the 10 rings. And then there's the 3rd act, which is heavily CGI.
Very supernatural.
Very into the mystic side of things. Creatures, dragons.
Powers.
Soul devourers. So we'll start with the first act of this movie. You get this really great bus fight with Razor Fist. I think that's kind of the highlight of the movie for me.
Yeah, it was a good fight. Yeah, it's a good little start to hey, this guy can actually fight, because before that we didn't know if Shang-Chi actually. I mean, he looked fit, but we didn't really know that he did all the training.
Right. It's kind of comedic how they introduce his powers. No one else seems to know that he can fight till he's messed with on the bus by these what turn out to be his father's men, as he says. But yeah, so he's basically hiding in San Francisco from his father, and then the father's coming to get him. Basically, he wants his necklace in order
to do something.
Right, to do something. We don't at the time know what it is. That takes us into kind of part 2 of the movie, which is he's going to go warn his sister of his father's return. It's not really his return. He's always been there, but he's coming for her as well because she has the same necklace. So then we're in China, I think, is when it cuts to. You get another great fight on the side of a building. A lot more vertical fighting than the first one. Another pretty unique Marvel Universe fight. Yeah. Not really computer heavy. It's very grounded. I guess it's another word for it. You get our 2 Marvel characters with Wong and Abomination.
Yep. And that was really cool. Especially you think Wong won't really do much if you don't know about Wong.
Yes, he is quite powerful. He's almost as powerful as Doctor Strange is.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if he'd be the new Supreme.
Well, we'll figure that out. We will find out about that. But he quickly dispatches Abomination. They meet with the sister. The sister, we find out, is also a trained fighter. She beats up Shang-Chi pretty badly.
And she did that to herself. She trained herself.
Right, she trained herself simply just by watching her brother train. And then the father gets them. Right, then that's where the movie kind of lost me. It was like once the father got involved.
Yeah, and kind of take him to his own like little like.
Right, you get like a very Ra's al Ghul looking like compound up in the mountains. It's kind of stashed away. You feel how powerful he is. I mean, he's got helicopters. He's got like a whole army there. And then it kind of fell into the Marvel formula from there. The villain, I didn't think the villain was that good. I think that was part of the problem.
Yeah, he wasn't very believable. I don't know. He seemed like mostly he was a good guy overall. Then he just kind of got something in his head.
It's very shoehorned in that he's like controlled the world from the shadows. There's like a really quick like thing. They talk about how he's had this organization, and then
like a very not even deranged. Like he could have been a really good guy that he just has the power, but tends to take the wrong step, and it's not even that bad. I mean, he just loses his mind. He just he's being controlled from the sidelines, and I can't believe that he can't figure it out. That's the part. It just doesn't seem believable enough that he would think that he's in the right when everybody else is telling them that he's in the wrong.
Right. And I think this kind of fell into the Marvel formula, if you will, right? So all Marvel movies follow a very similar style. Villains are generally, especially in the first part of a trilogy per se, the villain's usually a clone of the hero. In this case, aside from having the 10 rings, they're both martial art masters, highly trained, highly skilled.
Same background, pretty
much. And so pretty straightforward in terms of what Marvel does villain-wise. They killed him at the end, so that doesn't really matter. Again, another Marvel thing. They don't let many villains survive. I think Loki and Baron Zemo are probably the two biggest exceptions to that rule. But yeah.
I mean, it's a good origin story for Shang-Chi. I mean, I like seeing him on the screen. It's nice that he's there, and I'm glad that they're introducing him to the Avengers. And this way he's already in the group, kind of like, here you go, we fast-track you.
There's no like, oh, I know a guy, and they cut, and here he is.
Yeah, so now we know his story, which is good, getting all the introductory stories out of the way so we can have some more cool stuff like Infinity War.
Right. So when we get to like an Avengers 5 or another big team up movie, he'll be there. He'll be ready to go.
We got the final battle's pretty cool. I mean, CGI.
It looks great. Yeah, it looks great. Both the Devourer and the Dragon look phenomenal. Mm-hmm. Like whoever the graphic kind of team was on this movie deserves props for that.
And every single creature in the movie itself.
Mm-hmm. I mean, all the creatures look great. Yes. Yep. But again, overall, it doesn't fit the tone of the rest of the movie.
Yeah, it was very, hand-to-hand combat, everything kind of grounded in the Asian culture. And then, I mean, yeah, the dragons are kind of from that, but they just took that crazy mystical turn towards the end.
I would just say that, so you get those two awesome fights. You get the bus fight, and then you get the building fight. And the final fight should have just been Shang-Chi and his father. Like, hand to hand, maybe with the 10 rings involved, but then you throw in the dragon at the last minute, you throw in the Devourer at the last minute, you get this huge battle with Shang-Chi's mother's group of people. The Devourer has his army, and it felt very, very generic compared to the rest of the movie.
Yeah, I think the way the army from Shang-Chi's dad just gets absorbed by the other army because they're like, oh, you can't kill these Devourers, and it's just like, oh, suddenly all our differences are done. We were trying to kill me a second ago. You've killed half our people, but hey, we're friends now. I mean, I get that, big problems require like a big solution, but come on, like
right.
The bad guys that are left over are now good guys, in a sense.
Yeah, that felt forced as well.
I mean, at the end of the day, we can't all just be happy at the end of it. You got to kill some people. Some people's got to be angry.
I feel like the tone of this movie is kind of all over the place. There's the comedic relief with Awkwafina's character, and I thought it was going well up until about that third act, when it kind of turns more comedic, less believable.
Yeah, she turns into Hawkeye now.
Yeah, she's all of a sudden Hawkeye, Junior.
Yeah, I mean, I I had my reservations about her because of all the stuff that she's done. I've never really liked her stuff. In the movie, she was really well because she balances the Shang-Chi thing out. He's very serious, and he doesn't really joke around at all, and she's there over the top, kind of comedic, and it blends really well, so I'll give her props for that.
Yeah, the chemistry on screen between the two were quite good. Definitely another highlight of the movie.
Yeah, I mean, all these superheroes have had really good sidekicks, I would say. Some pretty decent people that I just don't. I mean, I don't like her just suddenly knowing how to shoot a bow.
That goes back to the Marvel formula of everybody has a sidekick, everyone has that comedic relief secondary character.
Yeah, and the sidekicks have the opportunity to become the heroes too, which 9 times out of 10 in real life it wouldn't happen. I mean, you're just there, just kind of stay at home because the bad guys will tear you in half. So,
Agreed.
But she did well overall. Let's see, should we talk a little bit about characters we haven't talked about? Ben Kingsley just knocking it out the park.
Ben Kingsley makes his return from Iron Man 3. He played the Mandarin in that one. It was kind of like a fake out. It made fans angry. But he was in this one, and he's pretty funny.
Yeah, but he's always been really funny.
Yeah, he's always been really funny. He was really funny in Iron Man 3. And
I like him when he stops being the Mandarin and he's just himself as an actor because he's just ridiculous. It's just he's like, I didn't even want to be here. I just played a part, and now and all this thing, and now he's stuck in the cave.
He's stuck at the same prison Shang-Chi and his sister are put into. Yeah,
it's pretty crazy. Cool. Let's see. We've talked about a bit of the story, the villains, the fights. Final battle, post-credit scene.
Post-credit scenes, there's 2 of them. There's one we've kind of touched on with Wong kind of taking Shang-Chi into the fold. Yeah. They're trying to figure out where his rings came from.
And they're way older than what his dad said, because his dad has had them for 1,000 years, so they said they were made way before that.
And they checked magic base, they checked alien, and neither of them match.
So, there's something out there that's a lot bigger than all of that. And let's see what else.
The second end credit scene is the reforming of the 10 rings under new management, if you will. Yeah. The Shang-Chi's sister is now in control of the 10 rings.
It's about time she takes a position of power.
Right. Another very powerful organization. They're there. They're going to be used. Yeah, the Hand, I would compare them to. Something like the...
everything from the Shadows. So.
The League of Assassins in DC, I think, is a comparison to them. But,
listen, I still think that the way they portrayed it in this movie, the 10 Rings didn't seem as powerful as the Hand has been portrayed on the TV show. Because the Hand seemed like it was everywhere. Now, here they said that they were everywhere, but it seemed like their base of operations was a lot smaller and a lot more stealth-wise.
Right. The Hand feel very much more closer to home because they're in New York City when they're fighting Daredevil and Iron Fist and all of them. These guys are kind of back. They're in the mountains of somewhere.
Probably infiltrated everything from the Shadows, but still, power level I felt a little low. But it's very cool to see her sister taking it over and her being in the seat of power. So. I wonder how those two will face off at some point in the future.
Oh, yes. They will be back. They've already said they will be back, whether it's a Shang-Chi 2 or Shang-Chi team-up movie. That's one thing I would like to see Marvel do more of, is just characters, 2 characters teaming up, kind of like Falcon and the Winter Soldier. You could do, Shang-Chi and... I have no idea who else you could pair him with, but
Doctor Strange.
Yeah, Doctor Strange would be a good one.
It'd be expensive to pair up, but Iron Fist would be a little cheaper.
Right.
Yeah, in the comics they do that a lot more. They just grab 2 characters and just ship them out this way and see what they do, and that would be kind of good.
I feel like you could do these smaller team up movies that aren't quite Avengers level, but you could put bigger threats in and kind of move the universe as a whole along easier, because you're going to have a higher turnout for people wanting to see, say you team up a lesser a lesser watched Marvel hero in the movies, something like, I don't know, we'll use Ant-Man as an example. You pair him with somebody like Thor, per se. I mean, Thor's people like the movies more than they like the Ant-Man movies.
So you throw him in there.
You team them up and watch the money roll in, basically.
Well, that's definitely what Marvel's been doing so far.
Right.
So yeah, cool. I think
I'm gonna say overall, we'll get to the ratings here. I'm gonna give it like a 7.5 out of 10. I think I like Black Panther more. I think Black Panther was a better movie. That's the movie that this one will probably get the most comparisons to. But it's better than Black Widow. It's better than all kind of the bottom dweller movies of Iron Man 2 and 3, The Incredible Hulk. It's kind of in that middle, like the first Ant-Man, first Guardians of the Galaxy. At least that's where I would rank it.
See, like I just love the scores and all the Guardians of the Galaxies. Like to me, they just makes the movie, so I rate them like a lot higher than everybody else. I mean, I just love the characters, love Rocket Raccoon, but here we're talking about Shang-Chi, so I would give it a solid 7 out of 10. Still, there's a lot of other movies that I like more, but I'm kind of weird because I did enjoy Captain Marvel as just a standalone, which it is, but I enjoyed it just because it goes back to olden times.
The thing with Captain Marvel, we're gonna veer off in a completely different direction here, is it's a prequel, so you know which characters survive automatically, you know which characters don't survive. That's my biggest complaint about any kind of prequel movie.
Oh, fair enough. Yeah, the lack of foreshadowing.
I mean, you know Captain Marvel was going to survive because she's in Avengers. You knew Nick Fury was going to survive because he's been around.
You just kind of have to do. I mean, you need these characters in there.
I get it. It's world building, but to me, I don't like prequels. Simple as that.
Fair enough. You're good. Yeah, I enjoyed it because I haven't really seen her that much. But yeah, Shang-Chi.
Yes, I think that's going to wrap it up.
So there it is. I would say if you have a Disney Plus subscription, go ahead and watch it.
Definitely give it a view.
It's not the worst of the movies.
He will be back. Definitely, he will be back. So give it a view. Thanks for watching our podcast.
Yeah, give us a review. I mean,
make sure to hit the like button, hit the subscribe button.
Yeah, and I hope you guys enjoyed our first movie special. So
we'll be back next time.
All right. Thanks for watching.